Oh, I have one right here. Oh, as a matter of fact,
World exclusive.
I really, it really occurred to me. I've got them right here because I was signing them, and this is the card, the front of the card.
Oh, okay.
Now this,
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is me, Flash Antonio, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My guest for today is the voice of Count Chocula and Sunny the Cuckoo Bird from Cocoa Puff, and also did voice work for a couple of video games, namely Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2 as JB Cripps for Red Dead Online. He is a radio personality and DJ, and the voice actor of such beloved animated series ThunderCats, as Lionel in 1985, as Claudus in 2011, and as Jaga in ThunderCats Roar 2020. He was also in Silverhawk as Bluegrass, and in Tiger Shark as Dolph, among many others. Now I need to ask for the help of the Sword of Omens. Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. I summon Larry Kenney. Hello, Larry.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay, and thank you for guesting in this episode. And I'm so excited to have you here. First of all, again, thank you for your time for joining us today. And why don't we get started? I got a couple of questions for you.
All right. I hope I have some answers for you.
So first off, obviously we started with the Sword of Omens with Thundercats, and a lot of Filipino fans are still into the Thundercats fandom, as with the rest of the world. And there have been a lot of members from our toy groups that are actually excited to watch this episode. And I want to start things off with asking you, being a part of all three shows, the 1985, 2011, and the 2020 show, how enthusiastic are you to possibly join a live action Thundercat movie, like a cameo, or possibly another animated reboot? What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I would love to do it. I've enjoyed every incarnation of the show. You mentioned all three. Gee whiz. And I don't have any of my Thundercats things here. I should have brought some of my stuff. Well,
animated reboot. Let's just say, like, 5 years from now, they do decide, like, probably let's do another run, Thundercats, and like would like to bring in Larry. What do you say about that?
oh, of course, if I like the script and the way they're doing the show, of course, I'd love to. Um, I have a very strong sense of loyalty to the legacy of Thundercats, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And over the years, many years it's been now, over 35 years since it was on the air, I've had requests from various companies to do various things regarding Lion-O and Thundercats, and almost all of them I've done. But there were a couple that I didn't care for the attitude of the show. I didn't care for something about it that didn't sit right with me, and I've always vowed that I'll never do anything that denigrates the legacy of Thundercats, because it's obviously done so much for me. And the main thing, though, is over the years, and especially in the last 20 years or so, with the advent of the internet, email, and all that kind of thing, I get so many letters from people who tell me that when they were young, some of them say they didn't have a very good childhood, and some get into detail, most don't, but I can usually figure out what they're talking about, and so many of them say to me that whatever their problems were when they were watching Thundercats for that half hour, they all went away, and they could just kind of lose themselves in that, and that means an awful lot to me. It means so much to me. So yeah, I'm very careful about what I do. I'm so protective of the legacy.
Protective.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to go on there as Lion-O saying something, you know what I mean?
Off character. Something that might hurt. Yeah, that might hurt
off
your character.
And off color, yeah.
Well, for like voicing prominent characters, like in the franchise, Jaga and Claudius. I mean, obviously Lionel. Um, would you also consider like producing or having creative, freedom in being able to tell some stories your way from your point of view? I mean, like the characters that you've voiced always had that leader quality. I mean, like, from Lionel to like Claudius and Jaga, and there might be some stories that you might want to tell. What do you think about it?
Well, it's an interesting thought, but frankly, I'm happy just reading the words. I'm happy just playing the characters. I was really interested in directing or writing or producing any, whether it's radio or television. So I've never really had any intentions along that route. I usually say it's because I'm too lazy. As an actor, I just show up and they say, "Here, read this," and I go, "Sword of omens, come to my hand. I, Lionel, command it." And I go home.
So iconic, yeah.
But the rest of it takes a lot of hours and a lot of work, and I also don't really have time. So I'm just like happy where I'm at. Just
Speaking of like scripts and just reading them, did you ever keep copies of those scripts from your previous work and like scrapbook them or something?
I have maybe two or three somewhere in
Yay!
my closet. I have maybe two or three. Many I've given away over the years. I autographed them and given them away to friends and and special people. It's funny because I wish now that I had kept a lot of that stuff. That stuff meaning the scripts, the original action figures, the animation cells. That's what I wish.
The cells. Yeah, the cells.
And the last couple of days we were recording ThunderCats back in 1985 or 6. The producers brought in boxes. I mean, big boxes full of animation cells. And they said, "Guys, these are just going to be thrown out. I mean, you're never going to be able to use them again. If anybody wants them, take them with you." So I took maybe 2 or 3, of which I have one left as Jackal Man. Now today I go on the internet and I see those things. In some cases are worth $5,000 each.
Yeah.
So
like collector's items and those are hard to come by. I mean, aside from them being expensive, you don't just like see them regularly on eBay. Like sometimes they'd be there and then like they'd be off eBay for like a couple of months and then you see like 1 or 2 again. And you mentioned Jackal Man. And outside of Jackal Man as the villain that you famously portrayed, is there any pop culture villain that you would have loved to put your own spin to? Like something you never did, but like, you know what? If I did that bad guy, I would like, like, was there something that...
Yeah. Well, I've always just considered myself lucky to get the part I got. I never kind of thought about, I wish I had done that one. But I do love playing villains. And I think most actors will tell you that it's more fun to play a villain because you can just overact. It's almost
mayhem and hilarity would ensue. Like they could go ham on a character.
Yeah. So the only other, Mumra, of course, is the ultimate, and it was done so well by Earl Hammond. We had 2 Earls on the show, Earl Hammond and Earl Hyman. But Earl was so wonderful in that part that I occasionally I would watch him doing his part while we were recording, and he flails around, and his ancient spirits of evil, and the rest of us are going, "Oh man, I wish I could do that with my character." So I'd love to do something like Mum Ra, but I've been fortunate that I've been able to play a full range of characters. I played a lot of bad guys as well.
Yeah.
There were only 5 of us in the cast of ThunderCats. At sometimes maybe 6, but we did all the voices. Every voice you hear on ThunderCats, the 130 episodes, is one of us. So that meant we each had to do, probably 50 voices.
Background character, background villain, or like
Yeah, yeah,
villager.
exactly. And then as the show went on, of course, and they wrote in new characters, the Rober Burbles, the
Yeah.
Berserkers, things like that. So then we had to come up with new voices for them.
Speaking of, like, earlier we mentioned something about producing or like having like a creative vision. This question comes from Pichon of ThunderCats Collectors Philippines.
Hi, Larry. Did you ever have a creative control over the characters you voice? Like, for example, like Lino over here. If yes, was there an episode or episodes that conflicted you, and why?
Well, but John, first of all, thank you for your question and for joining us here. No, not really. No, it was pretty tightly controlled, even in terms of adding a phrase here or there or a word here or there. And that was fine with us actors because we had some great writers. You know, we had some of the best writers in the animation business. We had the best everything. I think that's why the show became so popular and still is iconic. That we had great producers, we had great music. The music was something that nobody ever
Yeah.
heard before, an animated show. You know, I mean, cartoon music when I was a kid used to be,
Yeah. It's like
and then all
the
of a
circus
sudden,
theme.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, here comes this, you know, feel the man,
Yeah.
hear them, you know,
Wrong.
and so we started doing the thing, and we'd take a break for lunch or whatever, and we actors would sit and talk together about it. And this is a pretty good show. And, you know, we would say, yeah, I love that, the writing and yeah, and the music and this and that. So we knew we had a great product, but in this business, that's you never know. I mean, there have been some
Yeah.
great movies made that nobody ever saw. You know, we were content just to, whatever they write, that's what we'll do.
I see. So
Don't make
nothing was like conflicting with you. Not like nothing was just like, or was there like something that may have, you know, like I could have done something better for this part, or
It was, if it did happen, it was very rare. I can tell you that because, like I said, we were all so pleased with the quality of the writing and the directing and everything. I think there were times when maybe the furthest it went with me was I'd read, you know, you read your script, of course, beforehand. And
yeah.
one thing about animation, you don't have to memorize it. Your script,
Yeah.
which is great for me.
Yeah.
Then we would get into the studio, and I might say to the producer, Lee Doniker, Lee, this one line, I know what they're talking about, but it seems to me Lionel probably would be more likely to say something like this, you know. And there were times they would agree. That's very good insight, you know, because Lionel did say a few episodes ago this and that and that. So yeah, let's use that, you know. But it wasn't very often because it wasn't very often we asked. We were just content, you know.
Thank you for that. And
Yes.
and I have another question. This one is from Patrick. Okay, so Patrick from the Vintage Memorabilia and Toy Guy.
Hi Larry, this is Patrick Santiago, moderator of Vintage Memorabilias and Toys Guys. On behalf of our group admins Rick Tan, Perry Yu, Dan Tenang, and Anwar Imamura, with all of our members together with ThunderCats Toys Philippines, we are very honored to ask you a question. And the question is, aside from Lion-O and Jackalman, what are your other favorite roles that you've done as a voice actor? Thank you!
Patrick, thank you for the question. Another good one. One of my favorite characters of the animated cartoon series things, because I've done, you know, television characters, as you mentioned, Count Chocula and Cocoa Puffs and others. There was a show we did called The Karate Cat. Not nearly as well known as ThunderCats, Silverhawks, and even Tiger Sharks. It was a part of it. It was a part of a 2-hour Saturday morning thing on ABC called the comic strip. So it wasn't a show into itself, actually. The character I played on Karate Cat was called Boom Boom Burmese.
Yeah.
And he was a big, fat a fat cat, you know, and not that bright. So I gave him the voice that sounded like this. Gee, I don't know, karate. Maybe we should go tell mama. So that was always fun to play because it always broke up the other actors, you know. And
Boom Boom Burmese.
Boom Boom Burmese. I liked Safari Joe in ThunderCats. That was fun to do. I didn't play that many villains. We talked about villains earlier, but my favorite villain, of course, was Jackal Man, the one I played. And for him, at the very beginning when we were auditioning and they showed us what the character was going to look like and gave us a synopsis of, you know, something about the character. And then they asked you to come up with with your voice. They didn't say to you, here, do this voice, you know. So in thinking about Jackal Man, I remembered one of my favorite shows when I was a kid called The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
And his name was Snidely Whiplash. I don't know if you remember that. He was a stereotypical cartoon villain. Had the big black top hat, black cape, you know, and a mustache that went like this. And so I thought, since I think of jackals, well, I rarely think of jackals, but when I do, I think of sneaky animals, you know, kind of like coyotes. They sneak around. And
like they move.
Exactly. So they're creepy, you know.
Yeah.
So then my mind went to Snidely Whiplash. So I kind of added a little Snidely Whiplash, and it came out, we must get the Thundercats, yes?
Yeah.
That sounds creepy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It does.
Yeah.
But
Patrick, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. The reason I think most actors like me think that it's better to work with others, you know, in the presence of other live people, is we're actors, we're egotists, we're show-offs. Yeah. So it's more fun to be in the studio, you know, with Earl Hammond while he's saying ancient spirits of evil, you know, and part of you goes, I can do that. I can be that good. You know what I mean? It encourages you to step up to your highest level when you're acting with actors who are at the highest level in what they're doing.
So you really get to lift each other up because you know it's in a friendly way of competition. Like I can also be like this level, and now you match my level, and now let's try to like sort of one up each other in a friendly way.
Exactly.
So we come up with a fantastic product.
Exactly.
And then now like everybody else enjoys that product because we're sort of like one-upping, but in a good way.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure. And then that makes everybody better, I think.
I agree. Because if you're going to do it, might as well do it the best way you can, right? Exactly. I mean, like, there's no point of just like recording a line lazily as opposed to like, let's do this, you know.
And it also brings out, doing an animated series also brings out in the actors their childish self, you know.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I would catch myself going, like, somebody would do a great line, you know, a great performance. In the back of my mind, I'm going, watch this. And I'm sure the other ones did that too. But as you said, it was always in a friendly way. And it was for the team, you know, it was for the show. You did the best you could and tried really hard because you didn't want to let the other people down. You know, if they're in there doing incredible work, you don't want to just walk in there and just, you know, walk through it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've known several people, though, over the years who, like me, began their careers in radio. I started when I was 15 years old in my hometown. And so I've used, and I had always done cartoon voices, character voices. My mother told me one time that from the time I could speak, almost, I was mimicking what I heard on television and radio. For me, the easiest character for me to do, and let's say an entire radio show or a part of a radio show or series or whatever, would be Lion-O, because it's just my voice. on ThunderCats, we were told, first thing we were told, I mean the hundreds of us who auditioned for every role in LA and New York, is don't make the ThunderCats themselves, Lion-O, Jackalman, Tigra, Chitara, don't make them sound cartoony, because they're supposed to be half human, you know what I'm saying? And so the voices primarily that we all did for the ThunderCats characters were our own voices. Just a little more dramatic, obviously. You know, like here I'm talking to you, I might say, sort of moments, give me sight beyond sight, I, Lion-O, commanded. Then it comes out on TV as Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight, I, Lion-O, command it. A little more dramatic. But it's the same voice. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting when they hired me to do Claudius on the reboot in 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
They said, now just, you know, do Lion-O, but older. And I said, well, that won't be hard because I'm 30 years older than that. My voice naturally has gotten a little gravelly.
You don't look 30 plus with whatever age you were when you recorded Lion-O.
Oh, well, thank you. Aren't you nice? Thank you. I just turned 73, as a matter of fact.
So, I couldn't tell. Probably like 50 to me for all I care.
Oh,
and
thank you. Thank you.
Let's say a 2 hours worth of radio show with Lion-O. That would be interesting.
Well, yeah.
I would listen to that every day.
Yeah, as a listener, I would too. But I don't know, 2 hours of any characters, you know, a little too much, I think.
I'm going to talk about merch, and you see here, like I have the Super 7 ThunderCats box, and like I have the Swords of Omen. So when new merch comes out, toys, statues, caps, whatever, you know, from different manufacturers like Super 7 or Mattel or Bandai or Prime Studios, Sideshow, do they send you some complimentary pieces to post on your social media page for promotion?
No.
And oh, really?
No.
I hope they do.
No, they don't. I mean, there have been times when I've asked, can I get one of those, you know,
pieces.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. You know, and they said, no, take it, you know, but not as a general rule. You know, the people involved with that kind of thing, and the people who produce and act in those kind of things, we don't get to see each other very often. You know, I mean, it's a different part of the business. The merchandising is a totally different part of the business. One thing that happened in 2011 when the reboot, the Warner Brothers reboot, ThunderCats came out. Was it Bandai?
Yeah, it was Bandai.
Came out
Bandai US, Bandai America.
And they paid me to be at Comic-Con for a few hours, signing those brand new action figures. Yeah, and that was cool because people would come. There were people who had cases of them, like
yeah.
Sign these, please. And I didn't mind because I was being paid for the duration of the time I was there, so you know I didn't care how many.
It was okay.
it was fine, yeah. But no, you rarely have any kind of contact with, at least I do, with the toy companies, manufacturers.
Well, I hope they do. I mean, like, hopefully in the future they might consider, because there are a lot of merch coming out, and like for the most part, like the 85 ThunderCats celebrating its 35th, is my math right? 35th year, 2020, right?
Yeah.
On its 35th anniversary, there've been a lot of like nostalgic releases. You know, Super 7 and Funko also have their own like little figures. Sideshow came out, I think, with a statue, or was that Prime Studios? But you know, like with that in mind, with your previous answer, have you considered purchasing some in bulk? Like, let's say Funko, they're pretty like affordable. They're like $8-9 probably, and resell them with your signature. Or like probably like, you know, if you can't go to Comic-Con or you can't go to a local convention, would you consider like having that with probably your kid or Tanner. I think I heard his name earlier.
As a matter of fact, I've just begun to do that. Just yesterday, I signed. Let me go backwards, back a little bit. I have a new agent for personal appearances, Comic-Cons, signings, and things like that. I have another agent for commercials, cartoons, movies, things like that. And this new gentleman I have, Scott Cook, is amazing. I've only been talking to him about 6 months, and already he's come up with these really fun. He's making little boxes, clear plastic boxes like you keep an action figure in. But this is a small one, about the size of a card. I have one right here. Oh, as a matter of fact,
World exclusive.
It really occurred to me. I've got them right here because I was signing them, and this is the card, the front of the card.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
It's going to be a little plastic case, and then there'll be a little like a little plastic lion-o. It looks more like a Lego.
Yeah.
And then this is behind it.
Yeah, that's a card back. That's a card back, and that's what you sign.
And then through the back of the plastic, clear plastic, you can see this with my signature on it.
Okay, that's perfect.
See?
There.
So that kind of fits into the merchandising thing you were talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hold it up like longer? I'll like make sure that people get to see it. I don't know if you posted it on social media already. So that's the signed card back. You see the name, you see the picture, you see the signature, and then when you flip it on the other side,
it's that. Oh, and you see this little orange thing. That's where the figure. That's the background for the figure.
Yeah, that's a card back for the figure. Wait,
So
let me put you up again. I want people to see that. Wait, let me pin you. Okay, so can you kindly hold up that card? Okay, so what you're seeing right now is the card back for the minifigure. Okay, so you see Lionel, and then you see like there's a space there for the figure. Now, when you flip it, on the other side, you see a picture of Larry, charming, and you see his signature. You see his signature, you see his name.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens if you order, and now you have something for a display at home.
Yeah.
And it's small, it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And like that's a perfect merch. And for those that are watching this, where can they get it? Do they like go to a website? Do they go to Scott? What's his name? Is his name
Scott Cook is his name.
Yeah. But do they like go to a website, or like do they order it?
We're so at the very beginning of this. Just yesterday, I signed 100 of those cards, and he sent me one of the products. And wait a minute, do I? I sent the card. Oh, here it is. I know this looks like it's rehearsed, but I don't often sit at this desk, and I have a place.
I'm just lucky. I'm just lucky that you have everything in there just in time for this interview.
Yeah. That's what it looks like from the front. You see the box, and you see the lion figure in there.
Everybody's just looking at you. So can you hold it up, Larry? There you go. You see that minifigure, and then you see the card back, and then it's enclosed in this like small acrylic cube type.
Mm-hmm.
So it's protected, so you don't crush the card back, you don't bend it or whatever. And then at the back, you still see the signature. Okay, well, you'll see a signature in there. That's pretty much it. But you see the space. You see the space.
This one I didn't sign because
that's a sample. That's a sample
for me. So it would be like this.
I will order that. I am not kidding. I need to get one. And I'll probably have to ask you to add my name on it when I order.
Of course. But as soon as I brought that out and showed you, I'm thinking, wait a minute now. He hasn't even started
marketing it.
So I can't really tell you right now.
This is pretty awesome, you know, because this is the first time people are seeing this. I don't think you've ever announced this ever. So
No.
this is a big scoop, Larry. This is like world exclusive.
That's right.
No,
Um,
but again, this is for all of the fans, guys. This is not just for this channel. Like everybody gets to know. Like if I don't get like a pretty expensive, like let's say Super 7, it's
mhm,
not really like expensive, but you know, like I could have something that's also space saving. Like
mhm.
it's cute, you know, it's
Yeah,
pretty small. I
yeah,
can place it on my office desk actually,
yeah,
and it's a great conversation piece. Like you know, if I
yeah.
show the back, like oh hey, you know, it's signed by Larry Kenney. He's the voice of Lionel.
If people are interested, his name is Scott Cook, Cook, and his company that he's using to distribute these and sell these is Epic, EPIC, Epic Distribution.
Guys, I will post the link on how to order those awesome merch. You know, unique, and you don't just get to buy it from a store. You can
Right.
order it
Yeah.
from Epic and Scott and Larry, and hopefully we get some of these in the Philippines. You know, we'd be able to, you know, showcase them in
Yeah.
the Philippine Toy Con, and you know, a really nice way to display this is like have it on a rotating
Mm,
pedestal. Like
yes.
when people see it, like they would see like the front and the back, you know, as it
Hmm.
rotates 360
Yeah.
degrees,
Yeah.
and that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's so funny that I know it looks to people watching like he had those ready to go to show you. And it didn't even occur to me because just yesterday, and I didn't even know about this project until about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And just day before yesterday, this came in the mail. So I'm not sure when it's going to be available or anything else. But before you and I stop talking today, I will give you all the information as to where they can find it.
Thank you. Thank you. We will post it. And again, we're really more than happy to spread the word. I mean, ultimately, that's why, you know, we're also doing some of these if you're trying to promote merch or something. But yeah, people can find out more. I will post the link on the description box on my channel. Now, speaking of merch, um, what are some of the most memorable things you've ever received as gifts during conventions? Like everybody would probably come up and say like, you know, I'd like you to have this bottle of wine. Thank you so much for, you know, making my, you know,
Yeah.
my viewing experience special. You know, some people would come up and have like paintings or something. But what was something that really stuck with you as far as like a gift from a convention?
A couple of those, a young girl, maybe 10 or 12 one time came and brought me this little sort of omens that she had made out of tin foil. And, you know, it was obviously a child's project, but she was so proud of it. And you know, I just loved it. And I still have it. I don't know where it is right now, but so I get a lot of fan art. Yeah, people, a lot of drawings of Lionel, you know. Uh, but usually it's not as a gift to me. It's to have me sign, you know,
I see.
for them to keep. But for me, the gift is just that they come and see me and, you know, ask for my autograph. I still haven't gotten over that. You know, when when my son came to me, Tanner again, 15 years ago, or said, "Dad, you got to go start going to these Comic Cons." I said I hadn't heard of them. I didn't know what he was talking about. He explained it to me. He said people come there, you know, and you know, they buy your autograph. And I kind of, it made me uncomfortable because I have always, from 1985 when the show came out until today, when people write me for an autograph, I give it to autograph pictures even, and I don't charge. I don't charge for them. I probably shouldn't say that here because now I'll get a million, but that's all right. So I've never charged for my autograph up until this first Comic Con that I did. And in fact, I paid the postage. I pay for the printing of the prints at 8x10s of Lionel, you know. He calls and asks for an autographed picture of Lino. I signed one of these for them.
Oh my God.
See that? This is actually the picture that was on the DVD box set, the original one. Yeah.
Dibs. I want to call dibs on one. Probably have to email you or something.
I'll send you one, of course. I'll send you one.
Like,
But my point was that I felt strange about charging people just to sign my name. And my son made me realize that that's what these people are coming to this thing for. It's a place where they can go and there'll be all different actors and sports figures and all that. And they want to buy your autograph. It took me a little while. So the first few Comic-Cons, he would go with me and I made him take the money. I would,
I can imagine. Like,
yeah,
you do it.
They would hand the money toward me and I'd say, give it to him. I felt bad about taking the money, but I've gotten used to it. It's not so bad anymore.
Thank you so much, Larry.
You're welcome.
And I really appreciate, your Saturday morning in New York. Right.
Yeah.
So like for you guys watching this on YouTube, 1 to 5 years from now, this was done on a Saturday morning in New York. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I get to meet you in person and say my thanks. And again, it was such a wonderful time having you in this episode.
I had fun too. It was nice talking with you, Glenn Mark.
Maraming salamat. So that's it. That's our episode for today.
I've enjoyed it. Nice talking with you. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, we should. And again, guys, towards the end of this episode, check out the comment section below. I will try to get the link on where to get that recently announced merch where you can get a miniature Lionel figure with Larry's signature. Again, it was not rehearsed. Even I was so surprised, how that thing popped up. We were just so lucky, that we were able to see that as a sneak preview. And that's it. Till our next geeky adventure, guys. It's been Flash Antonio, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.